Dusty, I've got a tail.
Uh, is that like a new medical thing that they found
TALE.
for you?
Yeah, sorry.
Ah,
I do
okay.
not have. I don't do not have a TAIL. That was removed eons ago.
Yeah, I'd
Uh,
love you either way. Tail or no?
I think I'd be cute with a tail.
Yeah,
I've already got a bit of a rat face.
I think evolutionarily we probably lost it for like a good reason because humans are clumsy enough without a tail.
Always slamming it in the door. I just want to do. For some reason, this popped in my head. I want to write like a sitcom for like where it's like there's somehow like a giant like squirrel man, right?
Sure.
He's
Yeah.
bipedal and he's got a tail. I don't care what species he is.
Yeah, Mad Libbit from there, but
A-
he's
And like once every other episode, he slams his tail in the door when he
yeah,
enters, and you know the sitcom entrances where it's like, "Oh, it's Johnny!" Ha ha! We all laugh,
yep.
and he just like hastily like Kramer walks into the room and shuts the door behind him and just starts ah! 'Cause
That's the worst part about I don't want to take up your tail.
I will present my tail.
Okay, but the worst part about rewatching Seinfeld is the time when Kramer was the most over character on that show,
Yeah,
and he would come into the room and the audience would scream and applaud, and they'd have to wait till they were done to start doing the line. So then you just have dudes just standing there waiting for their cue, the way looking like nobody ever naturally looks. It really really breaks the illusion for me.
yeah. They have to like pause for a second, like they're in a wax museum.
Yeah, or it's like 30 seconds because some of them Kramer applause breaks were long. And it's like
Listen,
Jerry's just standing there just waiting to give him his line. What's up with that hat, Kramer? He's got to wait, you know.
the ultimate babyface, Kramer.
Kramer, the ultimate babyface.
Until yeah,
Right.
it's a big
Michael
until.
Richards, big heel turn.
Tough guy. He got himself some cheap heat.
Yeah. It all relates back to wrestling, my man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I've got a tale of triumph and joy.
Oh.
So
As opposed to woe and sorrow, which is our normal,
which is our
bread and butter.
our baseline, yeah,
Yeah.
our speed, if you will. There's so I started dating a girl like a month and a half ago, and yeah, I know it's crazy. Well, usually booze because usually the women are angry. They're usually
Sure, yeah,
throwing
yeah.
things at that point. But when we first met, she told me because I told her about my we talked about all of our past loves and tragedies and all that stuff. I told her about my cat, you know, and old Houdini passed away in July.
Your one other true love. No joke.
Miss you, brother.
It's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pouring out some liquor for my boy.
Yeah.
And she had just recently moved from out of town to Bakersfield, and her cat ran away like immediately. Her cat was like, "This isn't where I live. Fuck this. I'm gone." Right. And so as soon as I heard about this, I just started steady printing flyers and like posting in Facebook groups and stuff like that. She was overwhelmed with sadness, so I'm like,
Sure.
what's the easiest way to get a girl, right? Find
you
her
can
cat.
you can pick up the trail,
Yeah.
you know.
So I can think like a cat.
Yeah.
I think I am part cat, you know?
Yeah, you've got a cat mind.
Yeah, I've got a cat's mind. I've always said that.
Yeah.
So the cat Louis, he left us on August 1st or 2nd, right?
Uh-huh.
And I can
Good
gladly
cat name, by the way. Louis
it
the
is
cat.
a solid cat name.
Yeah.
I can happily report September 9th, 2022, Louis came home. We found him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Improbable. Impossible.
Yeah. In a year,
Unthinkable.
in a
And
year.
yet.
Yeah, so one of the neighbors saw the sign, had been
Opened up
feeding
their
Louis.
eyes.
That is true. Thank you. Had been feeding Louis for 3 or 4 days, and man, cats, man.
Goddamn cats, dude. That cat knew where he lived.
Yeah,
He was
I know.
just-
He's just on
he was just
vacation.
he was just getting a free ride.
He's in a new neighborhood. He's testing everybody out. See who he wants to live with in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, he was having auditions.
That's
So they called and we went and we threw that son of a bitch in a cage.
He went into a shark cage.
we drove him home. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. But I just can't stop. Like,
That's some homeward bound shit, dude. That is a real
imagine
Disney
how-
miracle. Yeah.
dude, it was 115 degrees outside 2 days ago. This cat's from the beach.
Yeah.
It's a beach ass cat.
Nah, I bet that cat was inside.
I don't know.
Luxuriate-
He's
luxuriating.
he was luxuriating. That's a Dusty Rhodes word.
Yeah,
He was luxuriating. He was sophisticating.
I've been watching a lot of Dusty Rhodes. It's clearly wearing off on me.
He came back super skinny though. So I'm guessing he was an outdoorsman. He was killing things. We wonder though. He could have ended up inside somebody's house at some point. He could have like. I wish he could tell stories. I bet he's got some stories.
So Sarah and I have 3 cats. She had 3 cats. I live here now. Now I have 3 cats.
Yeah.
I love cats.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super down with cats. But the cats are they're strictly inside cats.
Yeah.
But they're always kind of looking outside, like they want to go.
They're like
And
longing.
2 of the cats were born inside. Because Sarah adopted the mama cat while she was pregnant, because that cat had been outside. Some hooligan had left the cat, and so we
Some
adopted it.
deadbeat cat dad.
Yeah, and they look like they want to go outside, and I'm like, dude, you guys are living high on the hog. Like, there's nothing out there for you. There's stuff to smell, certainly, but like.
There's stuff to smell. Exactly, fuckface. I want to go smell that stuff.
But sometimes even the mom cat, she'll look out and I'll be like, "You were out there, don't you understand?"
You know how it goes. That's where the weather is.
Yeah, and then but the weird thing is, if we leave the door open, like the front door, and leave the screen so the cats can't get out, if the mom cat gets to the screen and she like smells the outside for too long, she gets like real riled up. Like she's fucking wild because she goes back into street mode.
Is she fixed?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say
They're all fake, but I think she knows
she's back
like,
into street mode.
you know?
Oh, I can kill things out there.
Yeah, she's like,
you know how many buttholes I smell right now?
she would just, and then she'll just fucking bap one of the other cats for getting too close for a while, and we have to like take her away and put her in a room to let her get reacclimated to the inside. It's like
she's slapping her kids for having dreams.
Yeah, she's like Brooks from Shawshank Redemption. She gets out, she doesn't know what to do. You know?
Yeah, I have resigned to the fact that if I ever, when, very soon, I will have a new cat.
Yeah.
And he or she is going to be, we're going to call him Staying on the Inside. That's going to be his name.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He is not going outside.
No.
He's not even going to know there is an outside.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take his claws away or anything. Maybe every once in a while I'll go buy a gerbil. And I'll
let him bap it around.
just let him do his thing. Yeah, just let him do his thing, you know? I'll look the other way for a little bit.
I did have a declawed cat once. We didn't declaw it. It was declawed before we got it.
Before the fucking emails start rolling in.
Yeah.
Thank you for making that clarification.
I would never do that. I think it's terrible. But
Yeah.
we adopted the cat from somebody. And this is like the saddest cat you'd ever seen. It just was inside all the time. It had never been outside. It's got no claws. It's not a predator, you know? And then we moved to the country and we made it an inside-outside cat. That cat could not have been more overjoyed by that turn of events.
Really? I thought you were gonna say more helpless.
No, I mean,
I thought you were gonna say it died in 30 minutes. Something fucking
no,
killed
she was super stoked about it. I mean, she was ultimately killed by a dog, so I don't know. You know, all things considered.
Her last words would have been nice to have the knives on my hands.
Yeah, it's it was so that's terrible. Obviously, I was not stoked about that.
This is supposed to be a story of triumph.
Yeah, but for a while, no, but it like completely changed this cat's complete like outlook.
For like 3 weeks, she was dope.
You know, she lived a long time. Her and the dog had what until the end seemed like a fun Looney Tune style
Oh, shit.
relationship, antagonistic relationship.
The dog was just done.
Steady waiting.
The dog was like, you know what? I think I'm sick of this cat.
Yeah. Well, because the dog lived outside on a chain.
Did
It was
you
my
piss the
neighbor's.
dog off?
No, it's my neighbor's dog. And so we just came home and they were like, "Hey, our dog killed your cat."
Remember how you used to have a cat?
Yeah, I remember how you had a cat. But I remember in ultimate cat fashion, Whitney the cat used to sit that she knew how long the chain link was.
She would
So she would
sit
sit
just
just
outside.
far enough away from the dog to where it couldn't get her. And I went outside one time and witnessed it. And then I had to snatch my cat up. What are you doing? That dog's a psycho. It's gonna it wants to kill you. And so but at that point, still very funny.
She
Because
played herself. She
Yeah.
eventually played herself.
Yeah. when
Icarus.
kid-
You should have named her Icarus.
Yeah.
Hey,
Whitney, not a good cat name. I don't like Whitney the cat, but we didn't name the cat. So
yeah, it's fine. It's like it's like an overly human cat name, you know. Like Louie's a
it's-
cute name.
yeah, it's gotta be like an old person name. If
Yeah.
you're gonna name,
I know somebody who named their cat Silas, and that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jasper's a good cat name.
That is a really
like,
good cat name.
Yeah.
Stop naming more because it's gonna sound. If I pick a cat name and you happen
I'm
you
in your
burn
fucking
everyone.
head.
Yeah, you
I
burn
mean-
everyone that you say because people are gonna be like, oh, I listened to Snark Marks number 68, and fucking Dusty said that he should name his cat fucking Glenn or something. Whatever I end up naming my cat.
Yeah.
Now I've got an idea for a cat name for a boy, but it depends on if I get a boy.
Yeah. Well, good luck with your cat. They're dope.
I'm
Cat lady on
nervous,
this-
man. I'm paralysis by analysis. I care so much about cats. It's kind of my thing. So like, I'm picking my life partner, but I can't talk to them and hear
Right.
like what they're if we have any common interests or how they deal with certain things. You know, like
Yeah.
are
Sleeping, lazing about.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have those are common interests.
Yeah, that is
General
true.
common interests. Yeah.
That is true. How do you feel about video games?
Does the noise bother you?
I'm
Bet it
for 'em.
does. Yeah. This club is formed. So I guess well, actually let's start the pod. We can preamble a little bit based on I think what happened this weekend. It's going to put us in a frame of mind, but I have some things to say, Andrew.
All right, let's get that theme song. Welcome to Snark Marks Podcast, everybody. It's a wrestling retrospective podcast based out of the Central Valley of California. Dusty's still in the Central Valley, even though he moved away from me. I'm Andrew. This is Dusty. He's Belichick. I'm Brady. You know.
Ooh, wait, does that?
He wears the. Yeah. I'm gonna leave you for another podcast and hit it big.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be stuck with some other guy that I wish was you.
Yeah.
That sort of looks like you.
You wear raggedy ass sleeveless sweaters, and
I was steady doing that though. Belichick took that from me.
I date the supermodels and kiss my 12-year-old son on the lips.
Whenever I was teaching Belichick the cover 2, I was wearing the raggedy sweaters.
Yeah. So
No, you got to keep those safeties high, Bill. Listen to me.
you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
So listen to our follow us on social media, all of those. Follow us on social media on Twitter. We are at SnarkMarksPod. Dusty is at SnarkMarkD. I am at Andrew Idell on Twitter and Instagram. Probably follow me on Instagram because I'm a radio personality, you know. What is it? What else do I say? Listen to the back catalog. We got a bunch of cool shit that we did in the past. Listen to our booking shows. Listen to our first episode where we go over the little bit of the history of wrestling, as well as our history with each other, which is delightful. Dusty's getting married in 2 weeks from today.
Yes.
2 weeks in one day.
A fortnight.
A fortnight plus one, right? Yep. I'll be getting a tattoo the day before.
Oh.
So we're both getting changed forever.
Yep.
One for better, one for worse. Anyway,
dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice as to who's who. I got to see that tattoo first. So last week we did a couple of documentaries on One American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, one of the greatest, maybe my favorite wrestler ever. I always change. It goes from The Rock, Ray, Bret Hart, Spike Dudley. Dusty
the true
Rhodes.
legends, the true legends of the sport.
The Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, you remember whenever Spike Dudley starred in the Scorpion King? Well, I think that's kind of natural because we're expanding your purview of pro wrestling in a general way.
Yeah,
right?
my opinions on wrestling, despite how I book the Idell Wrestling Federation, have flipped on their head in the last 6 months or so.
It's been a wild turn, you know.
Oh man, have flipped on their head like goddamn stupid Will Ospreay or some shit. Or my opinions have flipped on their head like they're wrestling Samoa Joe.
All right,
that was a good one. Who knows if my opinions will ever wrestle again?
Yeah. Who knows if your opinions take a producer role in the backstage area based upon one errant muscle buster.
My opinions can't feel the fingertips.
Yeah. So I try to keep up with modern wrestling as well. I watched probably too much wrestling last weekend. I watched the WWE's offering Clash at the Castle on Saturday, which saw Roman Reigns retain his title in front of all of Drew McIntyre's friends and family. Maybe should have switched that belt for the moment in Scotland. But
they're just not gonna fucking do that until they're still trying to do The Rock. I guarantee
they want the Rock to beat him, but then who beats The Rock? And then why does it matter? Because The Rock beats the guy that no one could beat for almost 3 years.
Just bury your whole company.
Yeah,
he's got to beat The Rock and then drop it on like Raw the next day.
Yeah, the star of Jungle Cruise, better than every single fucking guy that's on your roster presently, which is true. But you can't tell everybody it's true.
It's damn true.
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's what you do. Speaking of it's damn true, you bring in Angle.
Yeah. Well, you can't. Angle's beat to hell, dude. He's like 70% cybernetics at this point.
Angle is what is the snake you bring in to get rid of the rats?
Yeah, and then you need the snake killing bears that have been trained to kill the snakes.
Then Goldberg comes in. And, if Goldberg has anything to do with any of this shit, when Vince leaves and the first thing that I hear is Goldberg might come back because fucking somebody got hurt, or I can't remember what happened.
No, Lesnar was going to walk out.
Oh, because Lesnar was going to walk out.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I could believe it, but like I was like, I thought Goldberg was a Vince thing.
Yeah. Goldberg is hey, everybody still remembers him. He was on the cover of TV Guide thing.
And he'll say yes, because like everybody still remembers The Rock and Stone Cold more, but they won't say yes.
Yeah, you're going to get less yeses from Steve Austin and The Rock. You're going to get a bunch of yeses from Goldberg. I mean, Triple H.
I'm not joking. I would rather them call in Ric Flair to wrestle for that title.
Yeah, if Triple H could still wrestle, he'd do it, but he can't. So, calls in Goldberg.
Because of his heart.
Yeah, cardiac event.
That sucks. Speaking of heart, call fucking Brett.
Can't concussed like a motherfucker.
Because
of Goldberg.
Goddamn Goldberg.
He'll straight up tell you about it. Anytime you want.
Yeah, he tells you about it a lot.
Yeah, he's steady. We'll let you know. I'm sorry. I ordered a soft drink. I thought the refills were free. I didn't realize that the 2 extra Cokes that I ordered would be on this bill. Also, I could be easily confused because Bill Goldberg kicked me right in my goddamn head and ruined my career. Anyway, I'd like to speak to the manager of this Red Robin as soon as possible.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Canadian police officer on a horse. I didn't realize that I couldn't go 75 miles an hour. If you'll remember, Bill Goldberg kicked me in my goddamn really fucking hard.
Yeah. And then I put a figure 4 leg lock on Terry Funk, and no referee tried to catch me, so I bonked my head on the floor.
Trying to entertain you and probably your father.
Yeah,
so
like a coconut right on the concrete floor. Anyway, love you, Brett. Just, we know. I know Goldberg kicked you in the head. I'm really sorry. I'm truly.
We hate him too.
Yeah, I couldn't be more sorry. Even Goldberg is like, I've apologized a lot. I'm just not going to do it anymore.
Did he say that?
Yeah, I was kind of like, I understand. I mean, how long can you really just keep being like, yeah, sorry, man. I'm really sorry.
I hate him.
And then, so WWE, pretty good overall show. Enjoyed the show. Nothing terrible on it, except they didn't put the belt on goddamn Shayna Baszler for some reason.
Who won it?
Doesn't make any sense. Liv Morgan beat Shayna Baszler in a pro wrestling match.
Listen, you asked for it to be more realistic. Liv would obviously win that fight.
Yeah, against a little lady that was trained by Billy Robinson.
No girl as good looking as Liv Morgan is ever gonna beat a girl as ugly as Shayna Baszler. Very easy.
Yeah. Baszler, because they have a money match. Baszler versus Rousey is the money. Like, that's a legit sort of, if you did the storyline right, you could do that. Or team them up and just have them wreck a bunch of people for a while.
Did the storyline right.
They did the storyline right.
Did you forget? Did you forget what year it is, Dusty?
I know. I just want it to be good. It seems so easy.
It's going to be like 2 promos on Raw that they'll just play over and over and over again, and Rousey will call her "do nothing bitch," and because she said bitch, the whole crowd will be like, "Fucking woo, she said a bad word," and then they'll have a couple matches, and then the feud will be over, and then they'll just move on to the next one because it's a machine.
Right back to the mid card for Shayna Baszler.
Take it easy, homely.
And then I watched AEW All Out on Sunday. And it just finished, luckily in time for this podcast.
Yeah.
I love pro wrestling, Andrew. I love it so much.
I've heard.
It's too long, Tony Khan.
And
the
there's
show's
just
too long.
And and we'll get to it in this Dusty versus Flair match stuff. But that's what we're doing today, by the way. Dusty versus Flair. We didn't wait.
Yeah.
There's too much of it. Not only is your show fucking 6 hours, you got 15 shows a week. Anyway.
Yeah. A pretty good show. Some odd things happened in it. The Acclaimed versus Swerve and Keith Lee was really good. Danielson versus Jericho was really good, except Jericho won for reasons that baffle me. I don't understand. It's fine either way.
Mid-card Daniel Bryan, dog.
Mid-card Daniel Bryan. CM Punk defeats Jon Moxley, returns as AEW champion. Immediately, from what I hear, tears his pectoral muscle, and then so he has to have surgery.
He just goes home quietly, right?
Yeah. He takes. I mean, he's injured, so he goes back to the hotel.
Goes home without issue.
Ices it up. No, he decides to drop a bomb for really no reason at all. I mean, I guess so here's the thing. I think that he's got a lot of pent up, obviously, feelings about being blamed for Colt Cabana no longer being on AEW TV. Whether or not Colt Cabana's not on AEW TV because him and Punk don't get along, I don't know. That seems to be the general consensus. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me at all. But to take the media scrum, take like 10 minutes, burying a guy that nobody knows about or even really cares about. Colt Cabana's a fine wrestler. I don't care. It's fine.
Frankly, I think it's sweet that he shares a bank account with his mother.
Yeah, I don't know really. I mean, aside from possibly shady tax purposes, I don't know what that's supposed to mean other than like, oh, you're not a man. You don't have your own fake account with the fake money that they give us.
He probably pays his mom's bills.
Yeah.
CM Punk's like, he shares a bank account with his mother. That's all you need to know about him. It's like, what, that he's probably nice and taking care of his mommy?
Yeah. So anyway, the Cabana Punk stuff, you can read about that elsewhere. It sounds like two dudes who used to be friends aren't friends anymore. That stinks, but whatever. You get to be an adult. Like Punk said, you get to choose to not be friends with people if you don't want. If
you get a friend sued by a multi-billion-dollar company one time, and you're the asshole.
Yeah. So that's the one part. The second part is where he called out all of the elite, the Young Bucks, Omega, and Hangman Page, and called them dumb fucks in front of the boss of the company, and the boss of the company didn't do shit. Tony Khan's just sitting there, not paying him.
He was like half nodding the whole time. He was like,
yeah,
yep.
Because he knows where the bread is buttered. Punk, they can't. The reason the elite are mad, in my estimation, is because they can't fuck with CM Punk because he's the real draw. Like, obviously, he's a real draw to the company. Not that they wouldn't survive without him, but they didn't do $1 million house before he got there. His return match is the #1 pay-per-view they've ever done. His segments draw better than anybody else's segments. He's the last big mainstream star WWE had. Like, and the dude has fuck you money, from what I understand. So, like, he doesn't want to play around and do whatever. And the Young Bucks seemingly are sort of notorious for being passive-aggressively those kind of dudes. So I could see why Punk is upset, but you can't, on the media scrum, go out there and just blow up the whole spot.
Like, I go back and forth on this because let me be on the record. I hate the Young Bucks. I don't like their personalities. I don't think they're particularly funny. I hate the new bio shit on Twitter. We've talked about this a million times. I think they look weird with long hair. They look like it looks like wigs. Their face just doesn't match. Anyway, unfortunately, I agree with the bad man on the internet that their version of wrestling is not the best version of wrestling, and I just hate them. But I just can't stop hearing about them being dickheads, But also, Phil Brooks probably also stinks. I don't like that guy. He complains everywhere he goes. Like, in this situation, it seems like he's got a point. Like, it seems like they're being dicks to him. And he got the short end of certain sticks, right? Tony Khan did give the keys to his company and to a bunch of fucking super friends who formed a clique and named them EVPs for some reason and all that shit. And so everybody sucks in this scenario. It doesn't look good on the company at all. Like, Tony Khan should be pissed about this, and he should have been like, you know what, we're gonna end this press conference, and like, he should have. But I don't know if I could have if it was me. So, like, I'm not shitting on the guy calling him a weenie or anything, but like,
well, he's in a tough spot because if he tries to cut Punk off, maybe in the short term it saves what happened after, but then Punk is pissed at you, and he's got, again, because he doesn't. I mean, everybody needs money. Obviously, even when Hulk Hogan had all of his money, he would still want more money. But, like, Punk could walk. He's walked before.
Yeah.
And you put so much time and energy into building this guy back up, that it would suck in the short term if he fucking bailed because you undercut him. But as the president of the company, he probably should have said something like, after the Colt Cabana stuff, which is, if Punk wants to air his side of the thing so that people can decide. The problem is people have decided whether or not they believe Punk's responsible for what happened to Cabana either way. So I understand wanting to defend yourself, but there's really no way to win that situation because he's not changing anybody's mind, especially the way that he went about it. It doesn't sound like he's a particularly good dude in this situation either. Like, so if Tony Khan had said, "Hey, that's a matter for business," we could talk about that after the scrum or whatever. I'd like to focus on All Out and all the good stuff that we did tonight. That's probably the pivot you want to make, but I don't know that Punk. I mean, from all the reporting that I've seen, Punk went out there with an agenda to fucking flamethrower those dudes, and no matter what anybody said or asked or did. So what do you do in that situation?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
But
yeah,
the main point is the point that you said, which is, hey, internet, Twitter, everybody stinks in this situation. No matter what CM Punk said, short of "I'm going to come to your locker room and stab you with a samurai sword," you can't go to his locker room and try to confront him when clearly he's like, as a reasonable person, you would say, "Hey, that guy's pretty pissed. Maybe we let him cool off. Maybe we do a mediation at some point at a neutral location after everybody's chilled out." That's probably the best case scenario. You can't just go to his dressing room, demand to come in when he doesn't let you in, get more upset, and then and then get in a fight.
Yeah, because I mean, CM Punk's UFC fights did not go well. Like, they are on record. I saw some guy that was like saying that I guess CM Punk. There's no way CM Punk did shit because he's seen CM Punk's UFC fights, and it's like, have you seen Nick and Matt Jackson's UFC fights?
Right. He's not great, but he did train with the actual Gracies. He's got to know something.
And I think I think it was Henry Hooft was his kickboxing coach. And just so you know, a lot of you guys don't know who that is. His last name's Hooft. You think he's probably good at kickboxing? Yeah. But
right. Could CM Punk beat another trained MMA fighter? No. Could he probably hold his own against Matt Jackson? I would venture to guess.
Yeah,
that's probably.
He'd probably wrap him in a pretzel. I mean, Kenny Omega, probably. He probably kills Kenny Omega too.
Yeah.
And like, did you hear about the all hands on deck meeting? And there was like,
Omega said he would fire 80% of the people.
So apparently the meeting was like going well. Like, there was a little bit of rah-rah shit going on, and I think Jericho spoke or something like that. And then Omega gets up at the end and is like, he says that he wouldn't have hired 80% of the roster.
Yeah, I think his point was everybody should feel lucky that they get to work in AEW, because if it were up to me, I would fire 80% of you, which is the wrong, maybe the right message, but the wrong messenger. Like, the wrong way to illuminate that message is to be like, all you bums wouldn't have a job except for me and my 10 friends.
I got to see if Omega, the Young Bucks, Colt Cabana, and Hangman Page equal 20% of the roster, because that's all I could think of that he'd probably keep.
Yeah. So, like, everybody's stupid. If you're Punk, you can't do what you did at the scrum. I can't speak to whether or not he felt threatened. I mean, wrestling has a pretty torrid history of dudes confronting other dudes in the locker room.
Yeah, it happens.
So, especially, because everybody immediately goes to Bruiser Brody. And I don't think the Young Bucks are going to stab CM Punk in the locker room. But you don't know. There's 3 dudes there.
The Young Bucks walk in, and as Kenny's like yelling at him, the Young Bucks are pouring thumbtacks on the ground because they don't know how else to fight.
They're putting them in the boot. So it's a mess all around. If you're the Bucks and Omega, especially because you have that EVP title, even if it's a bullshit title, you can't go confront another dude that's on the roster and then get in a fight with him. And if you're Punk and his group, like, maybe pick your battles better, man. Like, everybody stinks.
Well, it sucks for Tony Khan too, because like, there's been a lot of dissension happening already, and a lot of people want to leave. And like, he's apparently like, there's all these reports that he's being a dickhead backstage and freaking out on people, and like, he had to bring in extra people to be his PR and shit. I mean, his HR. And it's like, so he's dealing with all this. He's feeling the heat. He's struggling. He's plundering.
Yeah.
And then this happens. And now he has to suspend his top babyface. I mean, his top guy champion.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the locker room wants him gone, but he's basically the only thing adding any real legitimacy, like at the top of his card. Because like there's Danielson, but you keep beating Danielson for some reason.
Right.
MJF's gonna come back, but who? I mean, that's cool. Who's he gonna wrestle? And like,
Who's gonna wrestle CM Punk?
I know that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
and so like because I mean that's what was a strap match that they had before. That match was awesome. So like, but so it's like you you shit on to MJF back in the day, and I've been talking about this for a long time. Every time it's like wouldn't have been nice to keep that guy around a little longer, huh? But at least he's back. You you didn't bury Bryan Danielson, but you're just beating him a lot. Yeah. You rode the CM Punk train. You rode the train of the guy most likely to get pissed and walk.
Yeah.
And now like. And he is a guy that is so valuable to your organization. Like, he is the top guy who has actual wrestling legitimacy. Because Omega and the Bucks do, but like in terms of like main, like universally appealing,
true mainstream status. Yeah. It's Punk.
Yeah, and like, so you either have to take the side of the guys who you've been riding for this whole time, the Young Bucks and Omega and everybody, or you have to take the side of Punk, and you might lose the other one if you don't. If you know, so like. He's been, but this is the problem when you let the inmates run the asylum. You have to have some separation between manager and I'm using baseball terms, between manager and player, right? You can't all be homeboys. If you're all homeboys, you're gonna run into some issues where you're gonna have to discipline some of your homeboys, and like that's not always fun, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the big problem is now Omega and the Young Bucks got suspended, and they had just won the trios titles that they had just introduced.
That they introduced for fucking them.
Yeah, that they awesome. So now they have to vacate that belt. Punk is hurt, so either way, Punk was out. But like now you have to suspend or fire your number one guy that you spent over a year building, like, and. Now the title's up for grabs again, and who are you going to put the title on? You're not going to put it. You can't even put it on Omega because he's not there. So it's going to go back to either Danielson. It's going to go to Danielson, or it's going to go to Moxley probably. And look at your biggest drawing mainstream stars. It's not the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. It's Punk, Moxley, Jericho, Bryan Danielson. Those are really the dudes that people might recognize.
Holy shit! I just realized. All those guys have something in common.
Yeah, they
used to wrestle for Vince.
Yep.
God damn it.
And those are the like if you're flipping channels and you just see the Young Bucks or the Lucha Brothers, who I love dearly.
Yeah, me too. I like the Lucha Brothers a lot.
Right. It might not get you to stop, but if you're like, holy shit, is that Chris Jericho? You might stop. But Chris Jericho has all that name value because of all those years he spent in WWE. So who do you put your title belt on? That's gonna be a bridge, probably to MJF. And then if you don't fire Punk when Punk comes back, then you do him and MJF. But like, even if Punk hadn't caused a riot backstage, do you put the belt back on a guy who's had 2 title matches and got hurt either immediately after the title match or during the title match? Like, who's a 44 years old? It's rough. It's rough all over.
And I don't know how they I don't know what they do. He has to discipline these people. He has to try to get a little bit less dissension. He's got to stop being a dickhead. Like you just can't you can't alien or either he is being an unreasonable dickhead to everybody, and I'm talking about Khan.
Right.
And he needs to pump the brakes a little bit and learn how to lead, or he's finally disciplining people and trying to be what he's always had to be, and people are can't deal with it because they thought they were at what they were in this club that of buddies, right?
Yeah.
It's an either or situation, and I'm not there, so I don't know, but it sounds like from the reports that he's just being crazy, like an asshole to people. But
he's probably super stressed.
He's probably super stressed. He's
got to take care of a football team, a football team, and the wrestling, and he's the only guy in charge of the wrestling. Like, he books everything, and the shows have gone down in quality. Like, I bought this AEW pay-per-view because I like AEW and the matches are good. But like in regard to the stories leading into these matches, this is the weakest one. This is the one that I almost skipped. 'Cause I was like, like Punk's gonna win this main event. He has to. And then MJF probably comes back. And other than that, like it was just a lot of wrestling matches and just a lot of long wrestling. Like
Yeah.
and dudes are pissed. Malachi Black asked for his release. Thunder Rosa wants her release. Like, people don't want to work together. It's a weird environment, and I don't know how you fix it necessarily, except for like you said, like you have to like drop the hammer on people, and that stinks because AEW is supposed to be not WWE where everybody has to kowtow to Vince and people are afraid. But I don't know what you do because if you don't, then like you said, then the clicks start to run the thing, and you can't have that.
Yeah, it's almost like he needs to bring in like he has JR. It's almost like he has to give somebody like JR a little bit more of the reins in an official capacity.
Yeah,
If JR is down or somebody like that, where it's like bring somebody in with some real wrestling legitimacy who people respect, who they will listen to, or get Jericho to retire and be like that guy or something like. And I'm not the biggest like. I don't know if Jericho is ready for like to do something like that. I don't know Jericho's wrestling mind that much. I really respect a lot of the work that he's done in ring, but like you almost need somebody old like that. Like if fucking Kane wasn't such an asshole, like something like that, bring a guy
right.
in who's been around a lot, who knows wrestling really well, and who could run some shit.
Or
But
it's like Dana White. Like Dana White's, he has relationships with his fighters. I don't think he's friends with the fighters. You know, it's like management. It's almost like we always talked about whenever we were doing the band. Like the venue wants to pay a band as little as they possibly can and get away with it, and the band wants to make as much money as the band can make, and the band always overvalues themselves and the venue undervalues the band, and you have to fight and find some middle ground
yeah,
where everybody's happy. But it is an adversarial relationship, like inherently. And the same thing, trying to manage a bunch of grown men who I love wrestling, but like who pretend to fight for a living. So there's so much more politics than even like a combat sport or football or something, because you have to be willing to work with the other dudes in the ring to tell the stories. And that's part of the problem right
yeah.
now is there's a lot of guys who don't want to work with each other or want to go into business for themselves or don't want to have the matches that would make the most sense
Well, it seems like these
for
guys,
themselves.
the guys like the Young Bucks and all those guys who've been around for the whole time, they signed up for something. They signed up for something that was not going to make Tony Khan and his father money, right? Ultimately, like you have to bring in other guys. You have to bring in stars. You have to bring in these guys. So I think they're starting to realize that Khan had to bring these guys in and take the thing to the next level for the benefit of everybody. Like it makes the show better. It makes them more profitable, which allows them to do more and pay people more and get better talent and stuff. But I think they're starting to realize that this isn't what they originally signed up for. This isn't just a place where they could do what they want and carry out their visions. And, they have a billionaire friend who's going to let them do what they want. I guarantee there's a little bit of that. Like I would probably feel that way if I was in a situation with a billionaire friend who would let me do whatever I wanted. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I don't know how you get out of it, but you know what? I'm going to get out of it because we got to talk about Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair. So I'll probably do like a timestamp. So, we got a little off. But last week we did Dusty Rhodes. We did just like kind of career retrospective documentaries that we watched. And I've been wanting to watch the Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair matches for a while. And so Dusty put some stuff together. We watched a few promos. We watched 3 matches, and yeah, God damn it, I'm gonna go ahead and say I miss old wrestling. I really, really, really do.
Which is shocking. I mean,
I
in
know.
a good way.
I know it
but
is.
shocking given previous conversations we had before. By the end of this, you're gonna love the NWA, man.
Yeah.
It's just so much it was so much better. And they lost because Vince had a more powerful machine and he had Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
That's
my sins have been washed away.
yeah.
Yeah,
Even
it's
that
just
Piggly Wiggly you knocked over in Husuf?
in Yazoo.
Oh yeah, Zoo.
Uh, I said I was innocent of those charges, but I was lying. Uh, yeah, it's just like, and this is the problem. This is the problem because I do listen to the bad man on the internet, Mr. Cornette, every once in a while, right? He's right when it comes to like the way that I see it is like when Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair were fighting, it was drama. There was drama in the story that was enhanced by the drama of the fact that these guys were going to fight, right? And the fact that they were fighting is the excitement, not necessarily the impressive athletic shit they were doing while they were fighting.
Right.
It is the fact that it is a fight and anybody can win. And one of these motherfuckers is going to lose, right?
Yeah.
So
and
like
they're fighting for something that they both care about very much. Like the stakes are very defined.
yeah. And it's not a spot fest. It's not about like the drama isn't because somebody climbed to the top of the cage or because somebody can do a 350 splash and we got fucking Pac standing on the corner for 30 seconds before he does a double backflip on somebody, you know? Like it is that these two dudes were hurting each other and blood and guts and putting everything on the line for something that they cared about, for something that the crowd cared about, and they were just superstars, like vying for something that was a part of history, right?
Yeah.
And like I talked about how earlier there's too much TV. There's just too much wrestling on TV. You shouldn't see Roman Reigns on Raw wrestle.
Right.
You just shouldn't. Like your champion should. I don't even know if your champion. Yeah, your champion should probably wrestle once a month, right? Like because back then they wrestled all the time. Like I'm not saying that's how it was back then. Back then they wrestled basically every night, but you didn't see it all the time because it wasn't all televised. It was they were just right like.
Yeah, they're wrestling basically every night, but it's house shows.
Yeah.
And then there's television once or twice a week, probably. There's like a Saturday show and a Sunday show, and maybe the champ wrestles once a month, but it's mostly promos. Like you have matches, but the main stories are built through promos.
Yeah, and
through angles, you know.
that's the thing. It makes it more special when you get to see these guys compete. But now they have so much TV to fill. You see everybody so many times. Like you have such access to everybody, and the story's just plain. I mean, Roman Reigns has essentially had the same story for his entire run. Like it's basically been acknowledge me the entire time, right? Like, and like I just like I don't I. That's probably informing my disdain for AEW that we were talking about right now. Because like, and it's funny because I have historically been very pro AEW. Like I like some of their stuff, you know. But watching this old stuff, it's like, man, the crowd cared about this.
Yeah.
And the crowd were in awe when they got to see Ric Flair and when they got to see Dusty Rhodes, and like the whole match is like. The ambient noise of the match is the crowd screaming the entire match.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not like that anymore. And it's more profitable now. Like I saw a Meltzer yesterday. Somebody was talking about how, and it was like kind of lambasting the modern style of wrestling that Meltzer is championing basically. And he was like, well, you know, they just packed out 50,000 for a non-WrestleMania, so I think they're doing fine. Like it's pretty clearly working, and it's like, I guess it is working because the goal is to make money, right?
Right.
But
well, they also haven't done an outdoor stadium show in the UK in 18 years or 28 years or something like that. So like,
yeah, that's the thing.
It's an event now. it's not. It's not the. That's not a. If I'm Meltzer, I probably blast him for not a fair comparison. Like,
Exactly, because like, do you not think Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair would have packed that place? Like if you put them in a program, if you took their program, like exactly what they did, plopped it into 2022, and did that match that was at the Castle. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you took this exact program with all the promos and the lead up and everything, plopped it into 2022, put it in that Castle, do you think they're not selling out that Castle?
Well, and it's almost more commendable because they had to sell out the same areas. Like
Yeah,
they couldn't just be like, we're gonna go to Scotland,
not the novelty anymore. I mean,
right? Because that's the circus, or like a rock band. The Foo Fighters, rest Taylor, R.I.P. Taylor Hawkins. They didn't have to play the same bars every single weekend. They
Yeah.
fucking go to Wembley Stadium. They sell out 80,000 tickets. They don't have to go back the next weekend and try to sell 80,000 more.
Did you see what Garth is doing in Ireland right now?
No, I haven't
Dude,
seen.
Garth sold like, I don't want to exaggerate how many. Hold on.
But that's like
Garth
that would
sold
be
like
my
half
analogy.
1,000,000 tickets in Ireland for 4 shows or something like that. It's like something stupid. Like,
Of course he did, because he's a superstar, and I bet that show's going to be great. But it's because he doesn't go there. I wonder when the last time he played Scotland was.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's he was supposed to come. I can't remember how many years ago, and he didn't go. It got canceled, and they treated it as like a national tragedy.
Yeah, it's you. We won't get to hear rodeo.
Yeah.
How am I going to tell him that I also have friends in low places?
God damn it, my prayers have been unanswered.
um, so, but it's like that. Like if the Rolling Stones do a 4-night stand in L.A., they don't come back to L.A. for 2 years. And that 2 years, there's re-energized interest in seeing the Rolling Stones. Like the Mid-Atlantic territory was that territory, and you had to fucking get those people to keep coming back to see the matches every single week or every month or whatever,
Yeah.
however you ran. You had to get people in that building, and compounded time over time over time. I wonder how much more profitable wrestling is then versus now, and how much easier it is to make money now, because it is like the circus. When they come here, I feel compelled to go because they're not going to come back for a year. All right, but if
and
they're there
they're
every
the-
week, well, fucking maybe I miss it. I don't know.
And they're the brand. I mean, towards
Right.
the end, I mean, when this was going on, WWF was around, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it wasn't. It wasn't the.
It was before it exploded, right? Like,
Right.
because it exploded kind of late 80s, right?
84 is the start of rock and wrestling, and then WrestleMania 1's 1985.
Okay, so it's around exactly this time because
Yeah.
this is 84 to 86. So
Yeah.
they're not the only show. Like WWE is essentially, I mean, AEW is also a show, but they don't they're not touring like WWE is. Like they're still the Kleenex of wrestling.
Right.
So like anyway, I'm just saying like it seems lazy now. It seems lazy, it seems rushed, it seems very Walmart mass-produced wrestling rather than actually building heat and generating I think that's the thing. And I've told you this before, and this gets me in trouble when I mention it sometimes. The WWE roster is too big. I understand why they release people, and it sucks when people get released. I feel for people who get released because they're trying to live out their dream, but there's very few places like in baseball. If a guy gets released, the fans aren't getting pissed at Hal Steinbrenner for ruining this guy's life because I liked him, and you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's not big bad Yankees for getting rid of a guy who wasn't performing.
Right.
And I feel for the, like I said, I have sympathy for those people, but like, yeah, they have too many people on their fucking roster. Like it is, you can't. If you have 500 people on your roster, 475 of them are going to be no names.
Right.
But they're only carrying them because they have so many fucking shows.
Yeah. Well, and
to keep them from other people, I think probably.
Yeah, and we're looking at this nostalgically, like the toothpaste, like we talk about all the time. Toothpaste is out of the tube.
Yeah,
like,
you can't rebuild it. You can't
do this because kayfabe's alive here, and kayfabe matters here because it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have been as good. Because also think about it, you didn't get major boxing. You got major boxing fights a few times a year, probably on ABC or NBC or whoever carried it.
MMA didn't really. MMA was. I mean, there had been weird little things done in Japan and shit, but there was no real MMA at that point.
Right. So this is a combat sport. Essentially, it's treated similarly to boxing and all the lead up that we're watching.
Yeah.
And the way the matches are laid out, it looks like for the most part, two dudes really trying to fight each other for the world heavyweight title. And now there's such that's the thing, the thing that I take umbrage with Cornette whenever I listen to him analyze things is like he talks about the ratings so much and how few people are watching wrestling and stuff now. And if you really had a show like Game of Thrones, obviously brought in millions of people every single week, but there's so much shit to watch or listen to or do now that like you're not going to get 10 million people to watch almost anything, let alone wrestling. Football, Game of Thrones, that's pretty much it. Baseball and but even baseball struggles.
It's mostly just football and Game of Thrones. NBA playoffs does pretty well, I think. I was gonna say college football.
College football.
There's fucking football. There's fucking college football.
Like sports.
Yeah.
Sports draws people, and then every once in a while, like
something
a zeitgeisty television show. Like it's not the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. There's not 3 channels. It's not even direct TV, whatever. There was 50 channels, but you still watched what you watched. Like there's so much stuff now that it's impossible. There is no singularity in the zeitgeist. There's tons of now. The thing is to go raise your hand if you've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. Like it's the opposite. It's I'm not involved in the thing that the zeitgeist has captured, and that is how I identify it, as opposed to everybody remembers seeing the Beatles or everybody remembers the Kennedys.
There was a Lou Thez match that had a crazy share. I can't remember what it was. It was like Lou Thez was one of the most watched things in history.
Yeah, well, the main event, the Hulk Hogan Andre match from '88, is still the highest rated wrestling show ever. It aired on NBC and it had like 33 million people watched it, I think. Never again. It's just impossible. Like, could there be more fans if they treated the product more seriously and could capture lightning in a bottle? Sure. If a Steve Austin came along, or a Steve Austin style guy came along, yeah, you'd get more people to watch, but it's not even going to ever be the Attitude Era again. There's just too much stuff. At least in my mind, there's never going to be another space race kind of wrestling thing.
Yeah, and
there's just too much.
And you just can't, like, and because of the Attitude Era, wrestling's never going to be the same. Like,
right.
They injected so much of that stuff, like that excitement and craziness into a few years of wrestling that you can't really go back to the previous iteration without being called boring, most likely.
Right.
That's why I mean,
you burn the bridge. You can't you can't.
Everybody
go back to
talked about Brock tearing the ring apart the other day.
Yeah. Where he lifted the thing up with but it's never going. It can never go back. It can be different. You have another thing. Also, they don't give enough credit. MMA fucked it up. MMA took wrestling the playbook of this, which we will, I promise, talk about.
Yeah.
Like they took a blueprint of Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes or whoever you want, Austin versus Rock, fucking Flair versus Hogan, Hogan versus Piper, whoever you want. They took that formula and then they said, hey, guess what? At the end, these two motherfuckers are really going to fight.
Yeah.
They're going to fight for real.
Yeah.
And the other thing, they've already told you the other thing is these two guys don't fight at the end. They have a contest where they get along and they try to tell the best TV show story they can tell. Guess what? This dude's going to try to kick this other dude's head off. Yeah. Like, it's not the same. It doesn't compute.
Because Diaz versus McGregor is Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair. Like, Diaz is like he's not exactly the common man, but he's a guy. He's real. He doesn't care about all the frills and stuff. He just wants to fight. And
he takes the piss out of the guy that's, limousine riding, jet flying,
exactly,
all that. Yeah. But at the end, two dudes are covered in blood, and if what you want to see is combat sport, at the end of the day, MMA has it. Like wrestling has it in the middle. Like I'll watch Sheamus versus Walter if there's a good wrestling story versus two no-name MMA guys. But even then, two no-name MMA guys, whatever fucking who's the dude that did the kick off the cage?
Anthony Pettis.
Guess what? That's the most exciting shit I've ever seen. Like, if I didn't know who Anthony Pettis was,
that's the coolest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I can watch a no-name MMA fight, and the dude might do a flip off a cage and kick a dude straight in the face.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, because that was in the WEC even,
and then that goes viral, and then now I know who Anthony Pettis is. Wrestling, it's a lot harder because you are also coming over the barricade of people having a real problem with it being predetermined, which we've also talked about. Every movie you've ever watched is also as fake as pro wrestling. It's
except for Roar.
Except for Roar.
Watch Roar on YouTube, guys.
Yeah,
tigers. It's got tigers in it.
And It Might Get Loud, the guitar documentary with Jack White.
Oh, we're going into documentaries. Watch Some Kind of Monster.
Yeah. So wrestling is as fake as any movie you've ever seen, except for Some Kind of Monster, where Lars is a true heel.
Yeah.
He would have sold out the Greensboro Coliseum.
I think it just sounds stock.
It sounds fucking stock.
It's just stock.
What else do I have to say?
So yeah, we started Starrcade 84.
Oh boy, this is before WrestleMania. They had the market cornered.
The $1 Million Challenge.
Yeah, so Starrcade, in the grand tradition of all wrestling things, Starrcade 83 is the first one, Flair versus Harley Race, where Harley Race paid $10,000 to have somebody injure Ric Flair. And I can't remember who injures Ric Flair, but somebody injures Ric Flair.
It's probably goddamn bitch-ass Tully Blanchard.
It was like Dick Slater or somebody. I can't remember who it was.
That sounds like Dirty Dick Slater.
Yeah, that's how, you know what? If I know Dick Slater, that's Dick Slater. And Flair comes back triumphantly, and he says this is his journey, and he's marching. It's a Flair for the gold. That's Starrcade 83, right? Mm-hmm. That's the tagline. So then they're like,
it's a good line.
It's true, yeah. And then next year they're like, shit, we got to do something bigger than that.
That's the problem.
Right. Nope. The $1 Million Challenge, dude.
I like the idea of the $1 Million Challenge. There's one issue with this. Feels like Ric Flair has to win the $1 Million Challenge. You can't give $1 million to the common man. He ain't the common man anymore.
Yeah, if they know Dusty Rhodes has $1 million, he can't talk about pork and beans anymore.
Yeah,
the textile workers.
Motherfucker, you don't remember pork and beans.
Yeah, so you have beans and franks now. That's what you. So we have a promo from November the 5th, 1984, where Ric Flair is wearing. He looks like he's auditioning to be in a Sherlock Holmes movie. He's got like the flat cap and the coat.
It's not a good look. It looks like he's got the paperboy cap and a trench, like not even really a trench. It's like a long. It's like if cargo shorts, if khaki cargo shorts were a coat,
Yeah.
essentially, and it's just too much tan and like, but it looks probably like it costs some money, which is kind of what he's going for.
Yeah, which is interesting because Flair rarely misses. Like, then this is a weird outfit for
And
him.
he wore it multiple times because
Yeah.
in the thing that I sent you, that he did you happen to see that?
Yeah,
Last-
yeah. I watched the promo.
Yeah, him and Dusty are going at it, and he's wearing that stupid shit again, and he goes, "I got a song just for you, you gotta listen to as I walk away," and he starts to walk away. And it's that song, "Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble
Yeah.
when you're perfect in every way." My grandpa used to sing that song. You wonder where my affinity for the arrogant came. My grandpa used to sing that song all the time. "I'll get better looking each day."
So,
old Leroy.
so Flair is talking about Dusty coming into Mid Atlantic, asking where Ric Flair is, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm right here. I'm right here, Big Dust." And then Dusty comes on a split screen, but you can't hear what Dusty Rhodes is saying, so he's just kind of mocking Ric Flair on the split screen, which is sort of weird.
He's making the like fists and stuff.
Yeah, and so Flair says he loves three things in life: big long cars, fine looking women, money in his pocket. And so at Starrcade, it's going to be the $1 million challenge. So this is early in the feud where they have a begrudging respect for each other. They are different, but they don't hate each other. Like I want to be the world champ. You're the world champ. Also, I think I can beat you. I'm willing to put $1 million up on it. You know.
I love how there's a 1-to-1 ratio between the value of a car and the length of the car.
Right. Ric Flair is uninterested in a hatchback or a sedan.
No, it's not long enough. He wants a long car.
Because he comes out on so that's the first promo, and that's just sort of setting up where we're at. And then they do like a press conference, and there's a whole stage with like band equipment set up. I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And it's like a press conference. So it's imagine a UFC like a UFC face to face, where Flair comes out in a Cadillac long car.
Long car.
In his paperboy outfit again, and he's him and Dusty start going back and forth, and they're building up the $1 million challenge. And Dusty's talking about how he's got to beat Ric Flair because $1 million. And then I thought to myself, who has $1 million, Jack? It's Jim Crockett Promotions. And so
they're always putting Jim Crockett Promotions over, which is cool.
Yeah. He wants to be the champion. Flair's the champion, and he thinks he can beat him. He's going to do it for the people. And then Flair, of course, again, he's not. I mean, it is heelish to play perfect in every way as you're leaving, but he's essentially like, Dusty Rhodes is a great athlete. He wants to be the champ, but I'm the champ. Nobody's better than the fucking champ. And I'm going to prove it at Starrcade 84. And so there's a little bit of animus, but it's like ruffling your feathers. You know?
A little bit of tension starting to build a little bit.
Yeah, but they're not. I wouldn't necessarily call them adversarial. Like
Or
it's
hostile at each other or anything.
Yeah, it's business-like. You know, you're the number one contender. I'm the champ. We have to fight.
Yeah.
And so that leads us to the Starrcade 84 match, which took place either Thanksgiving night or the week of Thanksgiving of 1984, November 22nd, the Greensboro Coliseum. 16,000 people came to Greensboro to check out Starrcade 84,
crazy.
the $1 million challenge.
16,000 people in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yep. And that is Gordon Soley and Bob Caudle are the announcers. And the first thing that strikes me is it is dark as hell in this arena. Like the ring is the only thing illuminated.
And I like it. Like I like the overhead lighting on the ring. It looks like an old boxing match. Like and and it's just because they didn't have better technology than that at the time. But Vince got so fixated on showing the crowd all the time that like, I like the darkness. I like that everything is on the ring. You know, like, fuck yeah, dude. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very very metal thing for me to say. No, I was talking about the British hair metal band. But,
I also like the darkness.
Yeah.
just to be clear.
you know how when they do the main event for UFC fights and they turn all the house lights off and they have the spotlights on the octagon, like it feels special. Like I think anyway. These two announcers are old as dirt. Neither of them are alive. Couldn't be alive.
No, Gordon Soley, before Jim Ross eventually took the mantle, is considered the greatest announcer of all time.
And I like this makeup. I like the it feels like a boxing match. It feels like a legitimate sporting event, right? Because they're just old, subdued, kind of like Howard Cosell type guys, you know?
Yeah.
And one thing that I noticed, because I when you fast forward on Peacock, thankfully there's the little you can see what's on the screen as it goes,
Yeah.
you know?
The
And
previews.
so they did Dusty backstage. And did you
I had
see
this
that?
too, yeah. Just
Okay.
in case you didn't. Young Tony Schiavone, real young looking,
Real
Schiavone.
young Tony Schiavone, yeah. And I didn't write down any of I don't think I wrote down any of the quotes, but well, it's just basically like, I'm coming, Flair. There ain't no more talking, and he's like pointing his finger.
Yep. He does say, at the end of this night, $1 million go in my pocket. The world heavyweight title in my pocket,
Yeah.
which I really liked.
And he's got a jacket that says Dusty with stars on the back of it, and he's got it
dude.
draped
And he's
over him
just
in like
chilling,
a blanket.
Yeah, he's like, I'm relaxed. There's no more talking. We're just gonna do it tonight, Daddy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was so good, and he like slowly ramped up the whole time, and then they go to Flair backstage, and Flair looks nervous later on in the show, and Flair's like, he's got his hands on his hips, and he's just basically saying, you know, Dusty, yeah, there is no more talking. You don't know what you got into. I hope you're half the man you pretend to be, and all this stuff. And then they cut to the two announcers, and the announcers are talking about like, you guys have to understand, it's not just a belt on the line tonight. There's endorsements that go along with this. There's constant travel and attention that comes with being the world champion. Like all this stuff about like, and they're putting the title over like crazy, and talking about it, how it really changes the life of the person who wins it. I thought it was a great touch. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, and Gorilla Monsoon used to do that whenever, even like an undercard match, he would talk about like, these two guys are really going at it because the winner's purse is significantly higher than the loser's purse. Winner gets 70% of the purse, loser only gets 30%.
Add
so it's
stakes to everything.
right, you act like it's a real fight. And that's only kind of kayfabe, because it is actually very important to be the world champion even in the NWA. All the stuff they said was true. It just doubles to make it feel like a real contest. Also.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? We get to the ring announcer. An interesting part of this match is that they have judges. Should the match go 60 minutes, there are 3 judges. There is Duke Kiyomoto, who is a former pro wrestler. I don't really know anything about him.
Hey, makes sense for him to be a judge, though, right?
Yeah. Then we've got Smokin' Joe Frazier, world famous, renowned heavyweight championship boxer, not a wrestler, but a man familiar with combat sports. He's also the referee, so he's getting a particular perspective inside the ring of how the match is going.
Yep.
Probably makes sense that guy could be a judge.
A little questionable, a little more questionable, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
A little weird that he's a referee, but it makes a little less sense than the first guy, but still, yeah, it's fine.
Then
Yeah.
race car, young up-and-coming superstar Kyle Petty
Yeah.
is the 3rd judge for the NWA World Heavyweight title match.
That's how you know that this shit is not going to a decision.
What is Kyle Petty's insight? What does he know about?
He's a good
pro
old
wrestling?
boy, man. He's a good.
Yeah.
Who better than the goddamn son of the king, Richard Petty, man?
Yeah, he knows.
Watch your goddamn.
He knows how to turn left for 3 hours.
It's North Carolina. Joe Frazier's not from North Carolina, is he?
No, he's from Philly because remember he
Yeah,
started
that's what I thought.
The Bill Burr rant.
Joe Frazier's from here, but he's black, so you guys can't.
So you have to pretend that you don't like him.
Yeah.
You have a statue of a fake boxer when Joe Frazier's from your town.
Hey, you guys gonna go see Rocky 14? I think it can win.
Tremendous. Yeah, so this, of course, is also an old-timey wrestling thing where they get a real big former sports celebrity to be the special referee. Muhammad Ali is the special guest referee for WrestleMania 1's main event. But Joe Frazier, I'm going to put it out here, bad referee. So really causes some problems in this match.
Real fast count at one point, real slow count at one point.
Yeah. Then something happens at the end. We'll get to it. Mm-hmm. What are you doing, Joe Frazier? Dusty's out in a pink and white robe, just looking fresh.
Yeah,
son.
he looks sick. He looks like
fresh paint.
What bummed me out is they did they overdubbed his whatever. What song did he walk out to at the time? Do you know?
No,
I tried to find this entrance because it was a sick entrance, but they played like some smooth jazz fucking baby making keyboard music when he was walking up. Like,
yeah, he probably had a real song, and I
guarantee that's what it was. But I'd like to know which one it was because then Flair comes out to his normal and
has there been a better song for a guy like in history for Pomp? You know, like. It really is, because that's from 2001: A Space Odyssey. The gall to fucking crib that song.
It's pretty good.
Make it your theme, especially in 1983 when Flair's only been world champ like 3 times.
Honestly,
He's not the GOAT.
Honestly, though, Randy Savage coming out to Pomp and Circumstance is fucking sick too.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing. There's not a lot of spots to go through in this match because it's old wrestling. So there's a lot of punching, there's a lot of chops.
They just fucking fight each other.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this today, which is we're not overly familiar in 1984 with fighting as a combat sport, right? You're not inundated with like techniques or people breaking down stuff or even just seeing a ton of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. So I could imagine watching this in 1984, and for the most part, looking at it and going, yeah, I could see these two dudes seem to be really fighting.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't have, like, you either have Bruce Lee martial arts movies, or you have this, or you have boxing. And really, like, they all kind of look the same.
Yeah, and they're flowing. They flow really well together. It seems like they react to each other rather than have different segments, basically. Like you do your shit, then I do my shit. It's like they kind of go where the match goes. And Dusty's work punches are good. Flair's work punches are good. The only thing, chops are loud, and the only thing that's really like it can get questionable is like running the ropes. It's always like, why do you come back?
If I threw you, why would you come back that way? I love Flair selling in these matches where like Dusty gets him in a figure 4 and Flair's just going God. Well, hurts so bad.
He's putting his own move over when he sells the figure 4. Oh man, it hurts so bad. It hurts even worse when I do this to people. Remember that next time I do it.
Because my technique's so much better. That's not this guy's finish. Flair does his corner bump, which again, like you could almost buy based on momentum. Like, because he doesn't it's not quite its final phase where he flips over and then lands on the apron and then runs to the other corner. Like, that's more sports entertainment.
Yeah.
But this, it looks like he got whipped out of control, hit the buckle, flies to the floor. Joe Frazier fucks up their inside-out suplex spot because Joe Frazier's like up in their business while Dusty Rhodes is trying to suplex Flair back in the ring.
He is a little too close. He's been a little too close a lot of this match. Too close, man.
You're too close, man.
Dusty almost had to choke a legend.
Yeah. Dusty gets knocked into the ring post, and it's a Crimson Mask just over his eye.
bleeding. Like, pretty
He-
quickly, he's got blood everywhere.
And then Flair goes into full mount and is just beating that cut. Like, it's pretty vicious. Like, as far as, you know, a worked fight goes, he's
Yeah.
definitely focusing on it. And then, but I feel like they were really trying to milk something, and Frazier's just up in their business. And I don't know if they didn't tell him enough backstage, or if that's just the way that he reacted to everything, because he's like trying to pull Flair off, and Flair's clearly working the cut, you know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to expect somebody like that to like really nail the show of it, you know?
Yeah. And that's Dusty tries to come back, and then suddenly Dusty's in the corner. Frazier checks the cut on his eye and is like, nope, that's it, and just declares Ric Flair the winner in 12 minutes and 12 seconds. And you can tell the crowd is like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And they're like, then Dusty's trying to yell at Joe Frazier, and he tries to get him, and like a whole room of baby faces have to come in to stop Dusty from jumping Joe Frazier, and Flair just grabs the check that's just sitting at the timekeeper's desk,
Yeah.
and just bails. He kisses the check and he leaves, and Dusty's in the ring, and they wrap a comedically large towel around Dusty Rhodes.
Well, it was funny because the announcer was like, Dusty's in the ring being treated now, and it's just a wrestler wrapping a giant fucking white towel around his head.
Yeah, and they're like, Joe Frazier's checking the cut, and then the bell rings, and they're like, he may be stopping this thing, and it's like, it just, the rhythm of it got
It was a little
lost
awkward.
somewhere.
A little awkward, yeah. And I was like, because Joe Frazier, this wasn't the first time that Joe Frazier like kind of stopped the action to check the cut, and I was like, they're not gonna stop this via cut. One of the I can't remember which match, but a big match in the first IWF pay-per-view ended because of a cut.
Oh, that's right.
I should have booked for Jim Crockett Promotions. I'm telling you that right now.
It is an old wrestling trope to get out of something, because like they really did book themselves into a corner, because like the $1 Million Challenge sounds great on paper, but like you said, Dusty can't win that because it changes his character completely. You don't want Dusty to lose clean to Flair.
Yeah.
So then what do? You know? And so there's a famous Kerry Von Erich Jerry Lawler match that got stopped via blood stoppage. There's a Ric Flair Lex Luger one that got stopped via cut, but in that one Lex Luger was barely bleeding. And it was like, that's when the crowd kind of called bullshit on that finish. Because optimally, you really need I know Dusty's bleeding a lot, but you really need it to seem like he's in danger. And he was just standing there, you know?
Yeah, he looked fine.
Yeah, it would have been better. I mean, I know they've stopped MMA fights when the guy looks fine and he's bleeding because of the proximity to the eye of a cut.
Well,
but we're not educated to that then.
yeah, it's kind of location and like severity, like depth of the cut. If his eyebrows hanging off, then, you know, yeah, maybe you give Frazier a microphone,
Yeah,
or something, and he's like, you know, I could see the bone in his forehead or something.
right. Well, I would think maybe if you did that, you have Frazier say, Dusty, for your safety, I'd like to stop this match, and Dusty says, no, I got to continue. And Joe Frazier says, okay, I'm giving you, you know, it's a short leash, but we're going to keep going, or whatever you do. And then Flair fucking, you know,
Goes after
Dusty,
the eye.
Yeah, Dusty busts makes a big comeback, and then Flair moves out of the way of the elbow drop or something, and he just starts working the cut. And it's like Joe Frazier's moral obligation to save Dusty Rhodes' eye overcomes Dusty's wishes to keep making this match, keep this match going. Because 12 minutes into the main event of Starrcade is really like hurting your crowd, I feel like.
I was surprised they did it like that, particularly because of how kind of flaccid it ended up feeling in the end. And that could have been a little bit of Joe Frazier, the timing of it all. I mean, the people weren't going to be satisfied with a cut ending it anyway. I wonder if people were like, Jim Crockett was nervous heading into that match. Like, I hope this. We just got to get through this. Like we got to get through this so we can do the next one. And like, so the next one we watched was Starrcade '85.
The Gathering, baby.
So that is, and not of the Juggalos, unfortunately.
Not of the Juggalos, yeah.
Unfortunately, Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes at the Gathering of the Juggalos is something I'd watch. Dusty Rhodes would fit right in with the Juggalos, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He fits in with everybody. But
He loves the Juggalo, I'm sure.
So, do you mean to tell me that Dusty Rhodes lost because of a cut in '84?
Yep.
And didn't wrestle for the title again until November '85?
It's possible that they had other matches.
But this is like the one.
This is coming off of the back of now it's personal. Now the shit has got real.
Mm-hmm.
Because this, of course, is the main event of Starrcade '85 that takes place after events on September 29th at the Omni. Ric Flair defeated Nikita Koloff in a steel cage match. Nikita and Ivan Koloff then attack Ric Flair until Dusty Rhodes comes in and makes the save. Because, again, they still respect each other. There's even a little promo I sent you where they were doing something called the Unity Tour.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any further information on it, so I didn't really want to bring it up. But it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like Tully Blanchard and Wahoo McDaniel were on some wild shit, and even the wrestlers were like, okay, we got to backseat our issues here. But they're respectful to each other, and they're like, hey, someday I'll see you down the road, and we'll fight for the world title again.
Mm-hmm.
Dusty comes out to save Flair. The Andersons, who Dusty has had a long-standing feud with Ole Anderson, because according to Dusty, it'll never be over, Ole, as long as we both have blood inside of us.
Dusty, don't squash the beef.
No, they jump on Rhodes, and then Flair jumps on Dusty to help the Andersons because they're his kayfabe cousins. So in the cage,
can we be kayfabe cousins?
Yeah, we'll be kayfabe cousins. Yeah.
That's canon.
Flair drops a diving knee off the top rope onto Dusty Rhodes' left ankle, breaking it, and then puts Dusty in the figure floor. And I couldn't really find any clips of this on YouTube, but I've seen it before, and the crowd is fucking riotous that this happened. Like, they're so pissed. And so that is what leads to the hard time promo. So we're in that era now.
Okay.
Dusty comes back. That's on September 29th, and then Starrcade is in November, but Dusty comes back for the Hard Times promo. And that's where he talks about, there's no honor among thieves. Ric Flair, I've said all I could say about it. You tried to put Dusty Rhodes out of the business, because that is some dirty shit. Like, there's a difference between you and I competing for the world title, and you tried to break my goddamn leg.
Especially after Dusty went out and tried to help him against the Koloffs.
Yeah, it's really just...
That's some dirty shit.
Yeah, that's some top level. Ric Flair's the ultimate hustler, I watched the Hard Times promo again, of course, because it's one of the greatest promos of all time, but they leave out some of it. They only really talk about the textile workers part, you give a man a gold watch, kick him in the butt, and say a computer took your job, daddy.
Who's they? Who leaves it out?
Or I'm sorry, the general populace. I feel like when we talk about the Hard Times promo,
okay, yeah.
They don't talk about the second half where Dusty Rhodes says he and John Wayne are the only two bad people that ever lived, and now John Wayne's dead, so Dusty Rhodes is the only one left.
There are two bad people. One was John Wayne, and he's dead, brother. The other's right here.
Yeah. And then he says, the next world champ of this Hard Time Blues is Dusty Rhodes. Join me on my tour in 1985. I love Dusty, but that's sort of where the Dusty Rhodes promos always go, where it's like he'll say some weird like word soup shit, but you don't remember that part because you remember a computer took your job, daddy.
He's Nate Diaz, bro. He's more coherent than Nate Diaz, but Nate Diaz, like he'll be like Man, because Nate Diaz, his fight got canceled yesterday. He has to fight somebody else. He's like, man, I was preparing for combat the whole time. Anyway, fuck that. I don't prepare for nobody. I just fight to fight anybody. Like it's always like he immediately contradicts himself, or he was saying all this shit in this interview with Brett Okamoto, and he just like rambled, and at the end he finally said something that he was like, man, I was fighting one time and people were booing. Like I came in and I was like, man, I'm gonna get my jab and I'm gonna take this guy down. I had a game plan and I went out there and I was doing the game plan. And people started booing, so I said, fuck that, and I was like, whap, 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 whap. And he goes, I refuse to be lame. It was the coolest shit I've ever heard. So it's the same thing, bro.
Playing touch bud in the park like a couple of dorks.
Exactly,
you know?
bro.
That's,
Nick Diaz, I feel like they pay me too much, but not enough, you know?
yeah. So he'll lose the plot, but all you remember are the highlights. So,
100%.
And then Dusty Rhodes says he's going to win the world title for that man who died 10, 12 years ago who never got to see a world heavyweight champion. I don't know who that person is. Possibly Dusty's dad is who I assume he means, but it could be somebody else. Yeah,
okay, so it was Jim Crockett, I believe.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Hold on. How long did he say he died? 12 years ago?
10. He said something about 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, that's Jim Crockett, because the only reason I know this is because I'm looking at on Wikipedia. They transcribed the whole promo, and that man upstairs that died 10, 12 years ago is blue. So I clicked in. It's Jim Crockett.
Okay. I thought it would say in brackets Jim Crockett.
Yeah, Jim Crockett died April 1st, 1973. April Fool's Day. Goddamn. Him and Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to quickly say, after the $1 Million Challenge match, they went backstage, and Ric Flair, his hair looks like the Shaggy Dog, like his perm is all flattened out, and he's like, "Look, I don't know if Joe Frazier should have stopped this match or not. That's not really my decision. All I know is I got $1 million fucking bucks, and I'm the world champ. So that's it.
Suck my Ric Flair nuts."
Yeah. And Dusty is upset backstage. He's got the towel over his head. And he's like, "We talking about $1 million, Jack? I ain't never seen a match stop for no cut. You better look all around the country. You better be in fighting shape, the fighting shape of your life, because I'm going to get you, Joe Frazier." And then he tells Ric Flair, "If you think that was a victory, you better go home and kiss your mama." I don't know. And then he pushes Tony Schiavone at the end.
I feel like I got to go home and kiss my mama after that.
Yeah. So back to the Gathering. The Gathering, it's called that because it took place from two different places. Because again, you got to up the stakes.
Yeah.
You got Flair for the Gold, $1 Million Challenge, The Gathering.
Do you know who's running Jim Crockett Promotions at this point? Because this is pretty much Jim Crockett Promotions, right?
Yeah, it's Dusty. Dusty's the booker.
Oh, okay. That's sick.
Yeah, and so they took place from the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, and from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. So like through closed circuit, when the stuff was happening at the Omni, you could watch it on the screen in Greensboro, and vice versa. So
did they go back and forth in between matches? Like, was it like one match at the Omni and then?
I think it was like 2 or 3 in one, and then 2 or 3 in the other.
That's crazy.
It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
But WrestleMania 2 made it worse because again, they gotta pump it up. And they didn't steal this idea, but they essentially tried to do the same thing. But they did WrestleMania 2 from 3 different cities, dog.
Fuck,
So,
bro.
Yeah. So New York, Chicago, LA. Is for WrestleMania 2.
Next IWF, every match is going to be in a different arena.
Oh, I have a good idea for the Loverboy title then.
Okay.
Yeah. International Waters. I swear. It's got to take place on a boat.
That's going to be the name of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
IWF International Waters because Commissioner Idell had his license taken away.
His license is revoked.
Yeah.
Only the sea will have him now. So
He's dressed like a pirate.
So the announcer for this main event is really putting some stank on it. He's like, Starrcade 85, The Gathering. Welcome to Starrcade 85. It's like, yeah, dude. I got it.
And it's funny because he doesn't talk much during this match, like at all.
Yeah. Again, they kind of, it's not the greatest hits, but they have a formula here. And Dusty, so it's Dusty dominating early with elbows to Flair and the punches, and then just being quicker than Ric Flair thought. That's really Dusty Rhodes' main offensive thing, is like he looks slow but he's quick. You know, he's
Yeah,
getting
and
out of the way.
he's really hard to keep down. This was my favorite. This was my favorite match of the three. There's a part where, because this is Dusty is selling the leg that Flair broke. And there's a part because Dusty, as you said, is getting the best of it for the most part, and they separate momentarily. Like there's like a scramble, and Flair just fucking calf kicks him like in MMA, like right under the knee. Yeah. And you hear Dusty go, ah! and he like, as he's falling, he like jumps. He reaches for the referee in like desperation. He just wants somebody to help him because he's in so much pain. Yeah. And then he gets out of the ring, and then he jumps the barricade. He like jumps both barricades so he can attend to himself a little bit. But the way that he like winced in pain and reached for the ref on the way down seemed like somebody who had genuinely been hurt or shot. Like he looked like he had been shot. It was great selling work by him.
Well, and the crowd oozed because everybody knows what happened.
Yeah.
So they all know that's, and they know Flair's moves, the figure four. Like it's very simple, but it's very good storytelling. Really good. Yeah. Then Dusty comes back in, and eventually hits a cross body, but only gets a 2 count, which is odd because cross body, big time, win the NWA title finishing move.
Well, he got the 2 count because there was a ref bump. So Dusty had Flair in the corner, and he's punching him, and he rears back to hit him one more time, and he hits the referee, whose name is, I wrote his name down, Tommy Young. Yeah. Because they fucked Tommy Young up this whole match. Tommy Young's the clumsiest motherfucker in the world. He just, no matter where he's standing, he's getting hit by something. Yeah. But yeah, he gets hit like kind of, and then he's like in the corner, like just holding his face. I love how fragile wrestling referees are. But he's like 2 seconds late on getting the countdown. So like Dusty really has him down for like 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah. Tommy Young, regarded as maybe the best referee of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. They fuck him up. He just keeps getting hit in this match. There's once where you're probably gonna bring it up, but Dusty's pinning Flair, and Young slides in to do the 3 count, and Flair throws Dusty off of him, like it's pretty impressive, like chest presses him and back over his head, and he lands on Tommy Young, who was doing the count.
Yeah. So Flair, also important to note, gets busted open in this match.
He does,
because it's a main event angle, baby. You gotta have that juice. And he starts finally working Dusty's ankle, and he's like, he's doing that thing where he sets it on the rope, and he jumps up and lands on his leg. Finally gets Dusty in the figure 4, and Dusty turns it over with the one finger in the air. Because the man knows drama. We're making movies, baby.
It's like TNT.
Yeah. So Dusty hits a flying clothesline and goes for the pin on Flair, and that's when the ref bump happens, where Tommy Young's counting, and Flair presses Dusty onto Tommy Young, knocking him out.
It fucks him up, bro.
Yeah. And then Arn and Ole Anderson hit the ring, because this is before the official formation of the Four Horsemen, but the Andersons and Flair are now known associates.
Oh, okay.
So Blanchard's not in yet, but Arn and Ole come out. Dusty dispenses of them. A new ref comes in, and while Flair's trying to lift Dusty up, Dusty gets a roll-up, pins Flair, wins the world title.
Yeah, so Arn comes in. Dusty knocks his ass out because get the fuck out of here, Arn Anderson. Kicks him out of the place because Arn didn't have his gun. And then and while he's fucking Arn up, Ole knocks Rhodes out from behind.
Yeah.
Remember? And then Flair covers with the new ref. New ref comes
Oh,
in.
that's right. Gets a 2 count.
Gets a 2 count, and then they get up. Dusty rolls him up and wins the title.
Yeah.
I
Also,
thought it was a really cool finish.
Yeah, really good 2 count on the Flair
Yeah.
pin with the second referee. Like the
Yeah,
crowd
yeah.
was like, "We're getting fucked, aren't we?"
Yeah, I know.
And,
Andrew was like, "We're getting fucked, aren't we?"
yeah. So Dusty Rhodes gets the pin, 22 minutes 6 seconds, wins the world title.
I didn't know who won any of these matches beforehand. By the way,
Okay.
when they talked about Rhodes versus Flair, I on the documentaries, I watched the interviews and I didn't watch like any of the match footage because I knew we were going to do this. I wanted to be surprised who won these matches.
So all the baby faces hit the ring, and they're like, they lift Dusty up, and he's super stoked. He's got the belt. The crowd pops huge, and we go backstage with Dusty, and he's like, "I did it for the textile workers, for the auto workers, and I'm gonna be the world heavyweight champ for a long time." Man, was that Dusty wrong?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Do you know what happened?
No, I just know he wasn't the champ for a long time.
They reversed the decision, so it's a Dusty finish. They go back. They come on TV, and Tommy Young says that the match should have ended in disqualification, and he announces it on TV. So they take the belt back, and Flair gets the belt back. So the people in the Omni, or I think in Greensboro, whichever one had the main event, they get their pop that night. They got to see Dusty Rhodes win the world title, and then they fucking take it back on TV.
That is fucked up because
Classic Dusty finish. That's the way he does it.
that sucks.
Because the only one that's worse is the Road Warriors. I think at the next year's Starrcade beat Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard for the World Tag Team titles in Chicago, and the crowd fucking explodes for the Road Warriors because that's where they're from in storyline. And then the ref immediately reverses the decision because one of the Road Warriors threw Arn Anderson over the top rope, and that was a disqualification in the NWA. So they, as opposed to giving them their moment in the sun, they immediately take it back.
I hate the top rope rule.
Arena. Yeah.
I hate the top rope rule.
It's good as a heel cheating device behind the referee's back.
You
but
chuck the guy over the top rope. Oh, that does make sense. The ref's not looking, you just chuck the guy over the top rope. Okay, I'm back to liking that rule, I think.
I saw a Dusty finish live.
Did you?
Yeah, the one WCW house show I ever went to, because they never really came around here.
They did a title switch or something?
Yep, it was Lex Luger and the Giant versus the Outsiders.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because it was 97. So, like, I got to see DDP and Randy Savage, Ric Flair versus Six, Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko. It was fucking, it was a really good show.
That's awesome.
But I believe Lex Luger racks Kevin Nash, and the Giant throws Hall over the top rope at the same time, and the crowd pops whenever the bell rings because they think that they won the titles, and then they're like, no, turns out they won by DQ on the house show. So it's not even for TV. They fucked me on the house show finish.
That's fucking funny.
Which is terrible. Yeah, I understand the Dusty finish as a device, but it sucks either way. It sucks when you do it in the moment, and it sucks when you do it the way they did it here, where they just give Flair the belt back after he lost. So
yeah, it sucks.
So now we're going to match number 3. So Dusty Rhodes invented the Great American Bash, and in a steel cage match on one of the Bash shows, Dusty defeated Ric Flair on July 26th, 1986. So Flair had been the champion almost for over 2 years, and whenever Dusty finally beat him, if we discount when Dusty beat him at Starrcade.
Yeah.
But so he ends that title reign, but they used to have that match on the WWE Network, but I couldn't find it anywhere. It's not on YouTube. It's not on the network anymore, so we couldn't watch that one. Flair wins the belt back on August the 9th, 1986. So what is that? Like a week and a half later.
Dusty
And
Dusty just didn't want to be the champ for very long.
Well, it's the NWA. The NWA is built on heels. Eventually, you got to give the belt to the guy in the big blow off, but they want the heel to be the champion because you can build baby faces for him to fight.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Makes sense.
Opposite of WWF, as we talked about in the 80s, they were babyface champion Hulk Hogan, build a monster factory, feed the monster factory to Hulk Hogan, have him beat him. So
Okay.
I like the NWA model. Clearly, the WWF model is the one that worked. So,
Yeah, I like the NWA model too, just because I like heels.
well, the problem is,
Big heel guy.
problem is it ends up fucking your baby faces an awful lot. Because they either lose a bunch of matches through some bullshit, and then by the time they win the belt, nobody cares. So then you're like, oh, baby faces can't draw.
That is the problem, because you don't want it to be like, a lot of people think that heels should only win if they cheat. So like, you can't just have your champion cheat to win every time, you know. But
So it's a lot of disqualifications, a lot of countouts.
that's why you go to the mythical Andrew Idell inspired competent heel.
Yeah.
The heel that can actually beat everybody's ass.
Yeah.
But you know, nobody listens to me.
But then they go into now this babyface champion can't draw, but it's because you didn't put the belt on him when he was as hot as he could be. People lost interest. Then they're like, well, it goes back to Flair, because clearly Flair can build the interest. So, you know, it was a whole mess.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have one more match just because I thought this was interesting as well. This is from, I imagine, one of the Bash shows, because it's outside in like the infield of a baseball park.
Yeah.
But we're looking at August 23rd, 1986. This match was on YouTube, and it's Ric Flair versus Dusty for the title on NWA Power, is the program that it aired on. Dusty comes out. He's got a sweet zip-up jacket on, which I liked quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about Dusty. When he went, a lot of like, it's weird about him, because he would sometimes wear the like Walmart flannels with big belt loops and shit. I mean, big belt buckle, and sometimes he's in a badass leather jacket, and sometimes he's in a fucking Versace robe. You know, like, it's hard to pin the man down.
Sometimes he's in that red jacket that he wore all of WCW 1997.
And then you're like, polka dots.
Yeah. So Baby Doll is in Dusty's corner, and she used to be the valet for Telly Blanchard. And then she switched during the Blanchard-Dusty Rhodes feud and became a babyface with Dusty Rhodes.
Is that Baby Doll Smith? Is that her name?
No, I forget what her.
Isn't there a Baby Doll Smith
is.
for some reason? I thought there was a Baby Doll Smith. Anyway,
the crowd, again, rabid for this. Like,
yeah, I'm wrong.
everything that Dusty Rhodes does elicits a monster reaction, regardless of what it is. Hip toss reversal, the crowd is insane. Because I think part of it was, they did the big title switch during Great American Bash on one of the shows.
She is the daughter-in-law of Grizzly Smith. That's why I thought she was Baby Doll Smith. She's Nicola Roberts.
Yeah, she was married to Sam Houston, Jake the Snake's half-brother.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
So I think part of it was, you have Dusty win the belt and then lose the belt, and then now you're like, oh shit, at my Great American Bash show, there might be another title change. Who knows? You know, there's been a couple of them, so it helps juice up the attendance.
Well, yeah, because if you gotta, it's kind of a curveball, because they have these long running champions, and Flair was the champion forever. So you're like, now let's do a period where anybody, like, where it's not a given that somebody's gonna win.
Well, and sort of the problem they were eventually cursed with is all the title switches happen on pay-per-view, and so if you see a champion on like a regular show, or at a house show, you don't think a title's going to switch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like every house show we've ever been to, I've never been like, oh man, the tag champions might be in trouble here. Like, there's not a camera. So unless something weird happened and they got to get the belt off of this dude, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked this match. The one spot in this match where they kind of play chicken with the elbow. Like, Dusty walks away from Flair, and then Flair's trying to sneak up on him, and Dusty just turns around with the elbow cocked. Like, it's the most
Flair's like,
devastating...
no.
Yeah. It's the most devastating move in history.
Did you? I don't know what Flair, what Dusty did, but so Flair keeps doing the heel thing where he like threatens to leave. He just gets
Yeah.
out of the ring, starts walking away, and he gets back in at one point. And when he gets back in, he just starts doing the Flair cower in the corner. No, no, he's doing that, and they've got the camera on his face, and he's like, no, 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 and then something happens because he turns and he's like, come here, come over here. Like
I don't
Dusty
know.
did something to piss him off, and I don't know what it was. But that's right before Dusty starts getting him with the cocked elbow. There's also a point where Flair, like I think there was a 2 count or something, but Flair pushes the referee, and the referee pushes Flair back, and Flair just goes straight to his back. He like the referee just floors him.
That's see, that's a little bit of sports entertainment, but I like it. Just
It's
like
so
the Flair,
good.
like the Flair flop, the out
Oh,
of
yeah.
the corner, you know. This also reminds me nostalgically of any time in history, 10 punches in the corner, that moves over. Everybody loves it.
Everybody's gonna count.
Yeah, that was the thing I was most excited to do at my first live wrestling show. I
Really?
was like, man, I hope they do the thing where I get to count along to the punches. So, Flair has Dusty in the figure 4s. They go to commercial break. What's going to happen? Anything could happen.
This might end during the commercial.
Yeah. Luckily, Dusty was able to recover. We come back. Flair's bleeding again. And on his way to the ring, he already had a Band-Aid on his head. So it's like, you know what's going to happen here. The ref gets bumped, of course. And then Dusty... Oh, no, the ref doesn't get bumped. What happens is Dusty gets a visual 3 count on Flair, but they're close to the ropes. And Baby Doll puts Flair's foot on the rope out of nowhere
Yeah.
to save the title. And the announcers are like, what the shit?
Yeah.
What's she doing? And Dusty doesn't know. And he's like, what? And the crowd is hardcore selling Baby Doll out.
Yeah.
They're like, it was fucking her.
Yeah. It was that fucking.
Yeah. And that gives Flair the opportunity to start work on Dusty's leg, puts him in the figure 4. Then the referee gets bumped
Mm-hmm.
because I knew it was coming. I just had my notes out of order.
Yeah.
And then Baby Doll gets a chair, a goddamn chair, and tries to attack Dusty Rhodes with the chair. And being a gentleman, Dusty doesn't blast Baby Doll with the chair.
In hindsight, probably should have.
Yeah, but he uses it on Flair. Referee wakes up. Wouldn't you know? Got ourselves a disqualification.
Yeah. I
So
was so pissed.
and then Tully Blanchard runs out and attacks Dusty's knee with the chair a bunch until Magnum TA and a couple of other baby faces make the save. Flair, Blanchard, and Baby Doll mug on the floor and leave. And that's our YouTube match. About 19 minutes for this match, which, again, we had 3 Dusty Rhodes Ric Flair matches. Only one of them ends conclusively, and then that ending got reversed. So
Yeah, that's what pisses me off. Of hearing that ending got reversed because I have no idea.
that's the NWA for you, you know.
Yeah.
But like as a feud, tons of heat, great matches. The crowd was into everything. Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair. I don't know. I wasn't bored, I guess, watching it, but I've watched the style for a long time. But like, it's not anything. There's no spots. There's no power drivers. It's just 2 dudes trying to beat the shit out of each other.
The biggest spot is there's like 1 suplex per match.
Yeah, or the body slam off the top rope. That's Flair takes that every time.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it because the heat was built through story and through spectacle of the fact that these 2 monsters of wrestling are finally facing off with everything on the line. You know.
Well, and like you said, it's not the way it is now where it's like I know Dusty's the booker and I'm hoping Dusty wins, or I'm thinking Dusty's going to win because he's going to book himself to win the title. I really want him to beat Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Like truly I want him to win the world title because I care about Dusty Rhodes.
And you are right. You can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. So like, as much as I like to lambast modern day wrestling, you can't redo the NWA today.
Right. It would be silly to pretend at this point. Like, again, I don't need the Guardians of the Galaxy to tell me that they're fighting on a green screen.
Yeah.
There are things you can do, but you're not going to take away the knowledge that people already have.
Yeah, there's still movies that make people cry.
Yeah.
So
You know, there's still good storytelling devices.
there's a midpoint, I feel.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. According to Wikipedia, Baby Doll turned on Rhodes August 23rd, 1986, helping Ric Flair keep his title, and then briefly managed Ric Flair before the Jim Crockett Promotions booking office sent her to NWA Central States due to their disapproval of her marriage to Sam Houston. So I don't know why they disapproved.
Goddamn.
I couldn't find anything about that on her Wikipedia.
Where was
but
Grizzly Smith at the time?
I don't know. I know he was
Wonder if-
backstage agent for NWA.
Yeah, so I wonder if, because Grizzly Smith was a very influential guy in wrestling. I wonder if
Right.
Grizzly didn't like Baby Doll. I have no
That's
idea
possible.
though. Like I'm sure somebody even listening knows the answer to that question, but I wonder if that's the case.
I also, as our last note here, thought this was interesting. Dusty Rhodes won the World Heavyweight title 3 times. Twice from Harley Race, once from Ric Flair. Do you want to guess how many days combined Dusty Rhodes was World Heavyweight Champion?
Oh man. You know
All 3
what?
reigns.
I'm gonna guess what it should be. 900.
If only, my man, from your
Yeah.
lips to God's ears, but
Yeah.
107 days. It's the
That's
combined
wild. They just didn't
total.
like leaving it on him. And do you think it's exclusively the babyface thing?
Well, I will tell you that Ric Flair had 10 reigns as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Do you want to guess how many days he was champion?
He had 10 different reigns.
Yeah,
Um,
it's 4 digits, just so you know.
yeah. I was definitely gonna go 4 digits. 5,000.
You're like, that's not a terrible guess.
Yeah.
3,116 days.
Yeah. So he's like I should have said closer to 3,000 because like that's a year.
Yeah.
365 days is a year. So like 3,600 would be a year reign each time.
Yeah, that's 8.5 years that he was World Heavyweight Champion.
That's sick.
Yeah, and like most of that is during the 80s. He was the world champion for the majority of the 80s.
I wonder who had the longest reign as like babyface in NWA, like the most amount of days being champion.
Oh, I could actually look that up for you really quick, if you want to stretch the our discussion.
Yeah, I'll
Or yeah, tell me. Okay, so this was the feud that you wanted to see.
yeah.
What did you end up thinking about it?
I thought it was great. I like definitive endings, but I understand how that was kind of hard with how things worked back then and how things still work. It's hard to put people over all the time. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I also have to remember, like, when comparing it to nowadays, it's not fair in the sense that these are the 2 of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Maybe 2 of the pretty consensus top 10, but probably top 5 wrestlers of all time. Because Flair's in everybody's top 5.
Yeah.
Flair's probably in everybody's top 3, unless they were super young, right? Where would Dusty go? And would you say Dusty's in everybody's top 10 or top 5 or?
I think so. I mean, it also
Probably top
because
10.
of because of all the other things too, because of his booking and the things he invented.
Yeah.
as well as being the top star, like babyface star, unquestionably. Through Florida and like the NWA in the 80s, I think Dusty gets top 10.
Yeah. So like I have to remember that it's 2 of the greatest performers ever. So of course it's going to be good, right?
Right.
But because like there's very few people who've been watching wrestling all the time who are going to put Roman Reigns in their top 5 or top 10.
Sure.
And I'm not shitting on Roman Reigns. I'm just saying that's the reality of the situation. So like, well, when I compare, that's not exactly fair, right? But I just really enjoyed the way in which they promoted these things. I like the press conferences. It's kind of the reason that I book the best wrestler in the world title the way I do. Like, neither guy wrestles for months, like a couple months, 3 months. Like, it's not realistic because you want to make money on your weekly shows and all that stuff, and you don't want to have pay-per-views without your champion and stuff. But um, if you don't have, you make it scarce and you do press conferences and you build the whole thing up and you can continue to like the promos and build heat so people are, you don't let them touch each other, and then people are ready to see these guys get their hands on each other and put it all on the line. Like I love how they set all this up. Like I'm a huge fan of the NWA, huge fan.
Yeah, that's yeah, I agree. I think you can look at this and you can definitely tell like they knew they had a special thing going and that they needed to promote it as such. And they had all their little tricks and they were just like, hey, we have two of the best talkers who are also the best workers. What if we just pointed them at each other? Like Flair is clearly Ric Flair, and we know who he is. He's defined. Dusty Rhodes is clearly defined. Their characters are antithetical to one another. We just have them cut promos.
Yeah.
And we want to see Dusty Rhodes win, and we want to see Ric Flair lose. And then that bastard gets away by the skin of his teeth every single time until Dusty finally beats him, you know? And then a lot of the NWA story was always like that the babyface is so worn out from the chase that then the heel gets his rematch and the heel can like take advantage of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Win the title back. So Lou Thez is the top ranked number of reigns, or the top ranked champion, 3 title reigns for 3,749 days.
He only had 3 title reigns and he had longer reigns than Flair.
Yeah. The problem is I don't know what the alignment is for some of these dudes.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's the tough thing.
The top 3 are Lou Thez, Ric Flair, Harley Race. Harley Race had 8 reigns with a combined 1,801 days as champion. Jack Briscoe, I guess, who would be a babyface, he had 2 reigns and was champ for 866 days. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But like Sting only held the NWA world title twice for a combined total of 216 days. So, you know, a few months every single time he was, or the 2 times he was champion. Ricky Steamboat held the belt once for 76 days, you know, and Kerry Von Erich only held his for 18 days. So, you know, there's Tommy Rich was world champion for 4 days one time. They built up one of the Starrcades, Ric Flair versus Ronnie Garvin. Ronnie Garvin beat Ric Flair for the belt, held the belt for 62 days. And
Hell yeah.
Lost it back to Flair at Starrcade. So they essentially gave him the belt so that Flair would have somebody to beat at Starrcade to win the belt back.
Flair always knew he was going to get it back.
Yeah. And so
we're going to take your belt. We're going to give it back. We're going to give it back.
They knew, you know, they needed a match. So, all right. Our number 1 movie this week, Andrew, I believe is a movie we've talked about on this podcast before. So we'll be brief. You have not seen it. It is Aliens.
No, I've never seen that. Yeah.
I know that saying should
I know,
watch a movie is not a
good.
thing, but it's very good. Should you get the chance? Spent 4 weeks at number 1. Famous story that I love. They made Alien. They didn't know what to do with the sequel. They called James Cameron of Titanic and Terminator fame at this point, and was like, hey, could you do something with the movie, with like the franchise Alien? We can't figure out what to do. And he just wrote the word alien and then wrote a $sign as the S and was like, clearly the answer is more fucking aliens. And so they made Aliens, and it made a bunch of money.
You dumb bitch.
Yeah. If one alien rules, a bunch of aliens rules more.
Yeah.
And so it cost $18.5 million to make, made somewhere between 131 and 183 million dollars, because apparently overseas box office was hard to pin down those days.
A little shaky.
Yeah. So here's a record that I didn't know existed. It broke the record of Halloween 2 for the highest weekend debut of a film featuring a female protagonist. $10 million.
Is Aliens Sigourney?
Sigourney Weaver.
What a name.
Yep. I mean, how could she not be a star at that point?
She better be a star.
Yeah.
With a name like Sigourney, you better be tough.
Actually, we'll come back to 1986 at some point, I'm sure. So I'll leave the top 10 movies. However, you have to know that this is the year Crocodile Dundee came out and fucking crushed the universe. Guys from Australia, funny accent.
Simpler times.
That's all a movie needed. It was number one for 8 weeks, Andrew. 8 goddamn weeks.
Oh, man.
Until it was finally defeated by Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Yep.
Just nerds!
Well, check this out. The plot Star Trek IV.
Mm-hmm.
2286, a humongous syndrome. What is this?
Cylindrical?
Yes. I didn't
Yeah.
prep before I read it out loud. Probe moves through space, sending out an indecipherable signal and disabling the power of every ship it passes. As it takes up orbit around Earth, its signal disables the global power grid and generates planetary storms, creating catastrophic sun-blocking cloud cover. Starfleet Command sends out a planetary distress call and warns all spacefaring vessels not to approach Earth. The Starship Enterprise, with Spock's help, finds out that the probe's signal matches a song of the extinct humpback whale. So they travel back in time via a slingshot maneuver around the sun
Fuck yeah, dude.
to return a whale to answer the alien call. But arriving in 1986, the crew finds their ship power drained by the time travel maneuver, and they have to live in 1986 for a while. And that is the crux of the issue.
I kind of want to watch this movie.
It's supposed to be pretty good. I mean, aside from the whales, you know, like they got to save the whales, you know. The only thing I remember is Spock encountering like 1986 punk rock guys on a bus, and that with a ghetto blaster, and that being pretty fun.
I'm a little bitter at Star Trek right now because I got the Voyager spacecraft on my shoulder, the NASA Voyager spacecraft. And when I say I got the Voyager spacecraft, people are like, "Oh yeah, I get it. It's Star Trek, right?"
Yeah, you love Star Trek,
you motherfuckers. I ain't no nerd. I ain't no nerd. I've got a fucking spaceship on my shoulder.
Yeah, that's
I'm a different kind of nerd.
And a healthy Dungeons and Dragons clan.
I do.
Going.
I am. I miss you guys.
All right, our number one album this week is the soundtrack to a movie whose sequel you profess to want to see. However, you have yet to see.
Which one?
It's the Top Gun, dude.
Oh, goddamn.
Goddamn Top Gun.
Okay.
Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, I almost watched it. I almost watched it last night.
Almost did it, but
we were on a cat finding mission, which was successful.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. Almost like the humpback whale mission of Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home.
Yeah.
Kenny Loggins, man. He really did it on this one. Danger Zone.
Took us right in, bro.
Take My Breath Away. Playing with the Boys. Top Gun theme or Top Gun anthem was a single released. And that's just that's just instrumental music.
Top Gun, Top Gun, Top Gun.
We fucking love Top Gun. All right, if you had bought this album back in 1986, you would have gotten 10 songs. Is that true? Yeah, 10 songs. But you could have also bought the deluxe edition, which has Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Great Balls of Fire original version, You've Lost That Love and Feeling, and a Playing with the Boys dance remix. So I probably would have held out for that one. And then in 2006,
Playing with the Boys dance remix.
In 2006, there's a special expanded edition, which has music from and inspired by Top Gun. I can't fight.
Inspired by Shock.
Can't fight this feeling. Broken Wings. The Final Countdown. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And The Power of Love is what you get on the expanded 2006 edition.
Listen, I'm inspired by that edition.
Yeah. I don't know if the original or combined, whatever it takes, 9 million copies. Top Gun soundtrack sold.
We've talked about it before. Like, soundtracks were huge back then.
Yeah. It was a big deal. Yeah. We are looking at the week of July 26, 1986, because that's when Dusty Rhodes won the world title from Ric Flair.
The one that they took away?
No, the one that he got to keep for 9 days.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then lost to Flair again.
The happy one.
Yeah, the good one. And then our number one song this week is going to be good song. Fucking Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Fuck, I think I might know that song. I don't know.
Sledgehammer. You don't know that song?
Oh, it's got the word sledgehammer in it?
Yeah. Look, man, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I know that one.
The music video is also very famous. Peter Gabriel is, I believe, used to be the singer of Genesis, and then
I think he's really. Wasn't he in Pink Floyd?
No, I think it's Genesis. What if I'm an asshole? Oh man.
I hope you're an asshole. I really hope you're an asshole. No, it's Genesis.
Yeah. Boo. Boo that knowledge being in my brain. But check it out. There's some fucking bangers on this thing, man. On these in 1986. We're looking at Sledgehammer. The next 2 weeks, The Glory of Love by your favorite, Peter Cetera.
Oh, dude. That's a bad motherfucker right there. My dad's on his way to see Chicago right now.
Oh, shit.
Peter Cetera's not in Chicago anymore, but it's still going to be sick.
25-6 or whatever.
25-6-4, bro.
Yeah. Papa Don't Preach by Madonna.
Okay.
Dethrones Peter Cetera. Then we got Send Me a Higher Love by Steve Winwood, which is a fucking jam.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good
Send me a higher
It's that Bring Me a Higher Love.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You bring that shit to me. You don't send that shit to me.
I need the higher love.
Yeah.
And then Take My Breath Away by Berlin. Also a song. Yeah.
Very, very thematic year. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of these songs are very similar to each other.
Yeah. It's interesting, you know. I didn't know what 1986 had for me, but turns out just Steve Winwood, dude. He rules.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a song called Valerie. That's fucking awesome.
Okay. I do not know that one.
Yeah.
All right. That does it for this week, everybody. We've seen Dusty Rhodes. We've seen Ric Flair. We've been through the matches. We're ending on a high note because, again, Andrew, I hope you're packed.
Oh, man. I can't wait to go to Frogtown.
I've got my backpack. I've got my shoes tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight.
It's on Tubi, right?
I believe that is what you said.
Not on
Tubi anymore? What if we've been hyping it up and I gotta buy Hell Comes to Frogtown? Explain it to my wife.
I will make you buy it too.
Yeah, it cost me $1.99.
It's on Vudu, so we will probably have to buy it. We'll just make Jacob pay for it to be on the show, you know?
Yeah.
Now we'll figure it out. It's like $2.99 to rent and $9.99 to buy. I made of money, so.
Right. I hope you buy Hell Comes to Frogtown. You won't watch Top Gun Maverick, but I hope you have to spend $10 to watch Hell Comes to Frogtown.
No, I'm renting it, and we're respecting the window. If you miss the window, you gotta rent it.
The window's open for a brief amount of time.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Next week we're welcoming Jacob back to continue, I guess, what is a tradition of Rowdy Piper based movies that we watch and review.
Very short tradition.
Yeah, we're watching Hell Comes to Frogtown, and oh man, we'll see what happens. But join us next week because kayfabe may be dead, but we're alive, and so is Frogtown, baby.
God damn.